All right, well, let's bring the meeting of March the 1st, 2021 to order. And is there anyone here for public forum? No? All right, let's move on to minutes. What do you have for us, Paul?
Well, first of all, we'll do the minutes from February 1st, which was a month ago today, as written, and I'd like to make a motion for someone to be approved.
I second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
All right, Mr. Ridlack,
Aye.
Mr. Gagner,
Aye.
Mr. Cantwell,
Aye.
and Mr. Jennings.
Aye. All right, what about warrants, Paul?
Well, we got a bunch of them. We'll start off with, I'd like to make a motion to approve them. The first thing on the list is commissioner salaries for $300. And then Osterman propane for a delivery made February 3rd, $1,709.62. And Franklin Electric for $785.34. And Mass Municipal Association for annual meeting and trade show, $85. FM Generator Company for Vine Street Services, $520. Office of the Inspector General for procurement training, $29. And then we have 5 of them for Veolia, the first being pack for pilot, $37.04 and 94 cents. And then we have the EQ tank manual run timers for the pump, $467.41. And then again for Veolia for metals testing, $640.50. And another one for Veolia for programming the Comac sludge VFD, $513.65. And the last one from Veolia for the INI study approval that we approved of November 9th, $17,361.66. Next, we have the Boston Globe for October, November billing, $365.88. WB Mason for office supplies, $18.55. And then Ford Electric for 161 Sunset Pump control change out, $595. And then Franklin Electric for grinder pump parts, $8,471.79. WB Matthews for forklift maintenance, $186.03. And finally, I believe this one is going to be reimbursed. Peter, you can confirm this. McClure Engineering for the Waterline construction, $1,220 even, for a grand total of $36,974.37.
Do we have a second on that?
I second.
I got some discussion on this one. The Boston Globe, $365 for October, December. What do we have going on with them for those 2 months?
The Boston Globe mails out our bills. That's the power purchase company.
You know, I
They
think
mail
I
out the
asked
bills.
that a month ago and you gave me the same answer. Maybe next time it'll sink in. And there was one more.
The McClure Engineering invoice will be reimbursed by Exxon Mobil.
Okay. And the annual meeting and trade show, $85. Is that something you attended, Peter?
Yes, that's the Mass Municipal Association. I attended the annual meeting and went to some of the seminars they had online. The Office of the Inspector General, the procurement training, they're going to be doing probably a 3-hour seminar regarding sewer operations agreements and procurement. So with our operations contract for sewer going up to bid soon, I'd like to attend that. That's going to happen, I think, the 3rd week in March.
Sounds good.
Peter, real quick, I got a question on the metals testing. Was that the testing that we had them do at the pump stations?
I believe that's the extra metals testing they've been doing on site.
On site.
And maybe some of it out at the pump stations, trying to identify where it's coming from as part of our
And nothing ever came from those tests, right? We couldn't really
No.
figure out from them. No.
Nothing concrete, nothing to really follow up on, no.
Okay.
All right, any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote to approve.
Mr. Ridlack,
Aye.
Mr. Gagner,
Aye.
Mr. Cantwell,
Aye.
and Mr. Jennings.
Aye. All right, very good. We've been here this evening for the monthly operating report.
Yeah, I believe he is.
Yes, I am.
Hi, Vinny.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Vin.
So we're gonna go over the January's operating report.
Go ahead.
Plant personnel, we're fully staffed at the beginning of the month. And by the end of the month, Eric Gatsky had resigned. He worked out a 2-week notice that he gave us. Health and safety, all the monthly safety checklists were completed. All COVID-19 protocols were followed. The training for the month of January was on HAZCOM. It's an OSHA annual course that we do on the JJ Keller. And we also did another one for housekeeping and maintenance. It's another one that Viola recommends we do, so we just all enrolled in it and completed it. For compliance, the month of January, there were 2 reported exceedances. One was a daily and one was a monthly. And that all comes out of one sample. It wasn't multiple samples to get us there. We had sent the metals test to a lab and they reported back 2,300, which is a huge amount of aluminum. Lucky for us, we had a duplicate in the refrigerator. We sent that to a separate lab that gave us a 260. When you average them together, we come up with that 1315 I have on here. But we had to report what was reported back to us. So we did have 2 violations. And when I notified the EPA and DEP about it, they said it's very rare for them to see a reading that high. They believed it was something at the lab also. But again, once they report that reading back, it's kind of final. We have to accept it. Also, that happened right after we had a Zoom meeting with the EPA about the new administrative order. And we're still waiting to hear back on what's going to become of that and what they're going to give us for the new aluminum limit. The operations and maintenance activities, we started cross-training people from Sturbridge so they can help and cover the plant, as Eric had given his notice, so I needed the extra help. So we trained 2 different guys from Sturbridge. And in that process, we also got them to agree to cover some of the on-call weekends. So the personnel here won't be doing every other weekend. It's kind of a lot. We had LaFleur Electric come in and they reprogrammed the sludge VFD for Comag. That's the VFD we had installed maybe a month and a half ago. And for some reason, the programming just wasn't right on it. It wasn't doing what it was supposed to. So they downloaded a new program to run it on, got that all set up, and they verified it was working the way it was supposed to. And it's been running great since then. We were still cleaning around RBC number 8 through the month. There was so much stuff that got ruined from that overflow in December. It was a really big cleanup for us. The maintenance shop, we stripped everything out of there, reorganized it, and it looks a lot better than I've seen since I've been here. Pump station activities, all the alarms were tested through the month. The full load generator exercising was completed. We did fuel up a couple of the generators that were getting low on fuel. We brought them a little above 3/8 of a tank, and we added anti-gel while we were there. 5 East alarmed out, and it was a bad connection on the battery. It called for a low battery signal. It was just a simple connection. I tightened it up, and there were no problems after that. The grinder pumps, we had a lot of calls in January for grinder pumps. 160 City Depot Road, we got there, it was an old system. We had Ed LaForte come out and upgrade it for us. 111 Sunset, we went out there and the floats were stuck on grease. So a couple days later, we had Slims come out and clean the wet well. 12 Lakeview. The grinder pump was just bad. We put a new pump in and it was running good when we left. 221 Sunset, the floats were stuck. And you'll see that one a few more times throughout here. And originally, sometimes you get out there and you don't really see the float stuck, but there's nothing else it could be. So it turned out it was a bad wire in one of the floats. It would work some of the time, and then some of the times it wouldn't work. So we had LaFleur Electric wire redundancy in to the alarm circuit. So when that hits alarm, it'll also turn the pump on and pump the wet well down. And after that, I had a couple more of them wired the same way. It's just something easy to do, and why wouldn't we do it? Now, let's see, 6B Worcester Road. That was another one that had a bad float tree, so we replaced that one. 22 Carpenter Hill Road. We had Slims go out and clean the wet well. We got a call out there, put some grease and grit in the wet well, and figure we might as well clean it out while they give them a fresh start. 41 Sunset was an old system. We had Ed LaFord Electric upgrade that one. 135 Sunset, we replaced the grinder pump. It was an old system, so we had Ed LaFord Electric also upgrade that. And that's it for the grinder pumps. We received 30 dig-safe requests in the month of January. And in the comments section, we attended a Zoom meeting with McDonald's franchise owners and operation personnel. And they were looking for advice on how to lower their surcharge. And Veolia basically recommended they should look into some pre-treatment before discharging to our collection system, and that would help them. And that's it for the MOR. Any questions?
So, Vinny, what did McDonald's think about the pre-treatment system?
Well, we didn't recommend anything specific because we're not engineers that were on this call. We told them if they wanted to reduce it, they'd have to reduce the BOD loading that they give us. And the way to do that would be a pre-treatment scheme, maybe an equalization tank or a package plant or something along that line. But we didn't give them anything specific. So they'll need to work with their engineers to come up with something if they're interested in going that route.
They're gonna meet with some engineers and try and figure out the best way to approach it and then do a cost benefit analysis to see if it's worth their time. I believe they have 6 years left on their lease at the service areas.
So just a question going back to that, Vinny, did you say that their BOD, they sent us a lot of BOD? I thought they sent us a lot of ammonia.
It's both.
It's
Both.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're just two different parameters that are based off of food waste. You know, one's coming from the bathrooms and the other's coming from the kitchens. But you get both from those rest areas.
Can you tell me how the BODs have been? Do we know if that tree houses thing is working or not?
So the levels that are coming out of the pre-treatment system are definitely lower.
Okay.
I've been trying to get them here to give us an update, but I believe Garrett is no longer with Treehouse. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So there must be some,
Shocker.
yeah. So there must be somebody else there who's overseeing it. I believe his name is Luke. So I'm gonna try and get up there over the next couple of weeks, touch base with him, see how things are going. But the reports that we're getting back show the BOD quite a bit lower, and they seem to be running more flow through the pre-treatment plant. So I think that's helping.
Okay. So you're under the impression, Peter, that system's up and running right now, that incubation system they have up there?
No, it's definitely up and running. Yes.
Yeah.
Depending on how well it's operating, decides how much flow they'll put through it.
Well, thank you for the report, Vinny. Any other questions for Vinny?
Mr.
No,
Chair,
hearing. Yep,
Paul,
go ahead,
Paul Rodman's also here from Veolia to talk
Yep.
about the I&I analysis that was done last, I guess, December.
Sure. Well, let's turn it over to Paul.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, evening, everyone.
See you, Vinny.
Thank you, Vinny.
All right, go ahead, Paul.
All right, good evening, everyone. So we started the I&I work as proposed back in November. We were able to get through most of the month, but then cold weather shut us down, as well as daily production was really slow, especially on Old Worcester Road. We found in there, pretty much in the entire street, the sewer mains were packed with gravel. So it took us a lot longer than originally anticipated to clean all the gravel out, top to bottom, all the way down to the pump station, and get that out of the sewer mains, and then do the inspections. That was the biggest thing that we found as far as defects. I didn't find any other structural defects that we looked at. No major sources of I&I, but we still have half the project to finish as well when the weather breaks this spring.
Where's the gravel coming from?
Pete and I spoke about that, and we believe it's from when they resurfaced Old Worcester Road last year, when they changed out the sewer heads. It all just went down in the sewer and they left it.
When they did the full depth reclamation, they pulled the risers out of the road and they played it maybe 12 inches down. And sometimes when they're reclaiming, the reclaimer hits that plate and dumps gravel into it. Or when they come back after and reset the risers before the top coat's done, sometimes if they're not careful, gravel will fall into those manholes and then get taken into the system. So that's my only guess.
Is that something we should address with them, Peter?
I tried to. It is something that when there's paving being done like that on other roads, I have talked to Jerry about it, so he's aware of it in the future, because he's talking about doing Carpenter Hill Road next year, which has structures on it as well, so that this doesn't happen again. But as far as them going back now and trying, I mean, Paul already did all the work when they were there cleaning it, so I think Paul, look, we're fortunate that
you would send them a bill for the cleaning.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it was all cambered, right?
Not before. It was cambered after. Correct? Was it cambered, Paul, before you jetted it or after?
After the jetting.
Oh.
So, but we can see while we're jetting what debris is coming back as we vac it out. And then obviously when we dump the truck, it's all gravel.
So I know you cambered the line, so there's no infiltration getting into that line, right? It's not like a hole somewhere where gravel's dumping in and we're getting a lot of storm water.
That's correct. Yeah, we
came
found
from the manhole.
no significant structural defects to your piping that would allow that much gravel to enter the system.
Okay.
It came into manholes one of two ways: either, like they said, when they were reclaiming the road, or when they had it ground up and material ran in to the
Right.
manhole.
Right.
But if we know that there was gravel in the lines, they were working on those lines. They are, in a sense, responsible for that. And if we have the proof that it came out of there, then there's no other possible place it could have come from.
Well, not if the line's structurally secure.
Yeah. And no one else is dumping gravel in the manhole.
Right.
There's only one contractor who was responsible. So is there a certain amount that it slowed the production down? It cost you more time and money to do this work as opposed to if there was nothing in the lines? Paul?
Oh yeah, no, it definitely slowed us down quite a bit, and also increased the amount of police detail costs that we need to do the job. So that definitely affected that aspect of it.
Well, we should try to back charge the contractor for that, Peter, if that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, if Paul can quantify that cost, we can go ahead and get that over to them and see what they say.
Could you do that for us, Paul? Can you get us some type of letter or something stating that the facts of the matter?
Yeah, I can draft something up and work with Peter to
I'd
get
appreciate that.
that done for you.
And moving forward, anytime you encounter anything that's abnormal in your path of doing work in town, let Peter know so that he can address that issue at the moment.
Will do.
Thank you, Paul. All right, Paul, you want to continue with where you left off? Sorry for the
Sure.
interruption.
No, not a problem. Not a problem. So we said, that slowed us down quite a bit. So we weren't able to complete the project as originally anticipated before the end of the new year. So in the I&I report, I state that. And then once the weather breaks this spring, we will go back out and complete the project. We do have an invoice for you guys, and I discussed that with Peter for the work that was completed in 2020. And then we did not charge for the stuff that's still remaining that's going to be done in 2021.
And that's all pre-approved funds, Peter. We voted on that prior to this.
Correct. I just shared my screen, but for those of you on phones, you approved $30,490 last November. So far, Paul's invoices for the work done is $17,360 ballpark. So we still have over $13,000 allocated. That's still there to be spent for the work he's going to start again in the spring.
Perfect.
And you don't need a vote to pay that. It's already.
No, we're in the same fiscal year. The funding is there. It's already approved, so we're good to go whenever the weather breaks and Paul's ready to start going again.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you, Paul. Does anyone have any questions for Paul on that?
Nope.
You have any other thoughts on this, Peter?
No, I was just I'll wait to get that invoice from Paul, and I'll go ahead and get that over to Albanese Brothers, and I'll let you know where that goes. I'm sure they'll probably ask to be at one of your future meetings to talk about it, and we can go from there.
All right.
All
Very
right,
good.
thank you,
Paul.
everyone.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
All right. Next, Peter, what do we have? We have go ahead.
We have a 7 o'clock appointment with P&P Construction. Mr. Pachalski is here. He's proposing to build 2 commercial buildings on North Main Street that he would like to connect to water and sewer. The property that he's planning to build these buildings on is owned by my father, so I will need to recuse myself from any discussion. He did submit a plan that I will share to the screen, and then I will go ahead and recuse myself, and you guys, he's here so you can discuss it with him. That's okay.
I have a few questions before you leave, Peter.
Sure.
Just if you don't mind.
No.
First question is sewer and water both run past that property, but there are no stubs, correct?
Correct. There's stubs.
I'm unable to share that screen. I'm dialed in.
Yeah, so there is water and sewer on North Main Street in front of the property, in front of the parcel.
In front of the parcel, but not stubbed to it.
Correct. He would have to cut into North Main Street to connect the lateral.
Very good. All right. Those were the only questions I had for you.
So.
All right. Who is here this evening? Bob?
Yes, my name's Robert Pachalski Jr.
Hi, Bob.
How's it going?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Go ahead. What you're doing, Bob?
We're proposing to build 2 commercial buildings on lot 20B. One of them would be an apartment office building, and the other one would be an office garage building. And we would like to connect them to water and sewer.
So pretty straightforward, nothing out of the normal betterment supply and yada, 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 so on and so forth. You don't have anything special to add other than that, right?
No, was just looking to.
Okay. Well, I don't see any issue with it. And does anyone else on the commission have any questions or concerns for Bob?
I was just questioning an anticipated use during the day, both water and sewer, they're probably the same, but how many gallons a day does Title V say, or you'll have a meter, so that's all.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for presenting this to us, and I'm sure we can work out all the details so you can connect and we can get another customer.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good evening.
You as well. All right, Peter, are you back?
I'm back.
All right. Next, we have the Exxon Mobil Public Involvement Plan.
Yeah, so the Board of Health has been working with Mass DEP and Exxon Mobil regarding MTBE groundwater contamination affecting residents on Golden Cemetery Road. Exxon Mobil will be having a public involvement plan meeting on Monday, March 15th at 6:30 p.m. to discuss this issue with the residents. So I just wanted to bring this up to you so you're aware. It doesn't have much to do with us at this point, but in the future, again, ExxonMobil has not taken responsibility for this contamination. They have been providing bottled water to the residents. They've been doing sampling, and there are a couple of POET systems in that area. But one of the solutions in the future could be to extend the water line off of Stafford Street down Cemetery Road to those residents. So I just wanted this to be on your radar so you have the information, and if you wanted to attend, to get some information on it.
This will be a Zoom meeting,
Yes, it will be.
and we'll be able to post that so that people can
Yes. So
find out on our website.
Yep. So the Board of Health has been sharing that, and we'll also put it up on our webpage as well.
Perfect. Excellent. Chris McClure has done some work on this as well, right?
He's been involved a little bit, yes, kind of off and on. Right now, the Board of Health is using Gary Magnuson from CMG mostly.
Yep.
Chris was involved in the past when we were meeting with the Board of Health. But now, like I said, the Board of Health has kind of taken the lead, and Gary's working with them on it.
Yep. Does anyone have any questions for Peter on this subject? All right, hearing none, moving forward. Peter, Superintendent Salary.
Yes, I would like to discuss a possible salary increase for my position. When I was initially hired, it was at the low end of the advertised range with the caveat that we would revisit the salary after a few years to assess my ability to perform the job. When I was hired, the salary range was $70,000 to $100,000. I agreed to 70 and received some bumps based on getting licenses preferred by the commission. My current salary is $79,500 and change. I believe if I was hired today with my experience from the last 3 years and what we've been able to accomplish, it would be at a higher salary than where I am currently. Pay for non-union employees is determined by the classification and pay plan. I've attached a copy of both. According to the pay plan, my salary is based on a level 3 of a 10-level scale. I would ask that you consider increasing me to level 7, which would increase the salary to $87,776 under the FY21 pay plan. If you would consider this, I propose that it be done as part of the FY22 budget, which would take place on July 1st. So thank you for your consideration. Guys,
I would like to ask Paul to give his take on when Peter, because he's the senior most member, and I believe, Paul, you were part of hiring Peter.
I
to his
was,
current role.
and
And,
at the time,
ahead,
he was, the range was 70 to 100,000 was advertised in the newspaper. And Peter agreed to 70 because he had no qualifications as to water experience. He has since gone to school, and his salary now is almost $80,000. So it has gone up 10,000, and the 100,000 range was for someone who was like a class 5 or whatever the classification is for water. Well, we don't have water yet. We haven't done anything toward becoming a consecutive water system, and I just don't think between COVID and everything else that it's warranted at this time. It's not that I'm opposed to it; it's just that I'm opposed to it at this time. Also, like 2 years or more ago, there was some mention about increasing Sue's salary. To my knowledge, nothing has happened with that at all. So, and yet Peter's looking for, and we just got him a new truck. Now, I realize the new truck is a company truck, but I'm sure Peter benefits from that in some way. I don't know. I think just COVID times, other salaries, and people are without jobs. I just think it's a poor time to ask for it. That's all.
well,
Peter,
Paul,
can I
I
ask
was
you?
more asking you, Paul. Well, thank you for your opinion on it, Paul. But I also wanted to know when Peter was originally hired. And I
Yes.
thought there was more of a definitive plan of him, what his roles were, and what we were really looking, or the town was in the commission at the time. The commission was looking for Peter to start developing out the consecutive water supply and moving forward, which all of which he has done. Don't get me wrong, but they hired him more along the lines of thinking, okay, we're going to be consecutive. And I believe personally that potentially creating a consecutive water supply to be in that position and or to just have your own system, there's a lot more work in creating it than just running it. And part of the commission's thinking at that time, correct me if I'm wrong, is that Peter is going to work at that and create that and run the consecutive side of things. Was that part of it?
I believe it was.
Okay. So in my estimation, Paul, I think that Peter is doing everything that he was hired to do. And I mean, I understand your position of saying, okay, COVID is a bad time to ask for a raise, but COVID doesn't necessarily interfere with the path that Peter was challenged or tasked with when he was hired. And if he is continuing to do everything he was supposed to do, I think that the salary increase was part of that path as well. Whether you think it was the true intention or not, that's, debatable for yourself. But that was the question I had for you, Paul. Sorry. Dave, you have something?
Yeah, I just have a question. Peter, with all these houses coming online with water and whatnot and other sewer things looking to connect, at what point in time do you think we're going to have to hire somebody else?
I don't think we will.
You don't think we will?
No, I think with Sue and myself there, we have the ability to continue to run the office with just 2 people. Just to address some of Paul's concerns, a couple of years ago, Sue did get a salary bump based on a salary survey that was done for the union. And I also asked about getting Sue another bump this year, but because she's a union employee, we can't do that outside of the contract. So I wasn't looking for just myself. So another reason I guess I'm asking for the increase is we've been able to, I guess, accomplish quite a bit of things since I've been hired. If you recall reading in the newspapers before I was here, there were issues with the VADAR billing and getting the sewer bills out on time and getting everything done correctly. With Sue's help and with the help from EJ Prescott and stuff, we've been able to get everything done, squared away, and done better. you know, if you look at what's been happening with the budgets, we've had healthy retained earnings from sewer. We've created 2 stabilization accounts since I've been here. We've created one for water that now has over $3 million in it. There's a stabilization account that's been created for sewer that should have just about over $2 million in it for future capital projects to get funded without having to go back to the ratepayers for more money. We've been very fortunate with grants received. I believe we received over $500,000 in grants over the last 3 years between the water master plan grant, you know, the EQ blower upgrade, the land purchase grant, and the other small grants that we've received. And the Buffinville water project that wasn't even talked about before I was hired, that's now still moving forward. So I understand consecutive water was a priority. Unfortunately, that's just far enough outside of my grasp that I can't make that happen at this time. I am still working on it. I'm still trying to get meetings with the town of Southbridge to make that happen. But again, the Buffinville project is still a big project, and that's definitely it's not a time sensitive project, but it is a project that does take a while with all the assistance from the DEP. So again, because of what we've been able to accomplish, I just feel that, again, if I was to walk off the street now, if this position was open, I believe this is about the salary that you would be willing to pay me based on my experiences.
Does anyone else have any input, any questions for Peter on this?
So
I,
I just got one question. So Peter, the salary that we would do if we bump it up to 87.76, so when will that come into play? Not until June?
I would propose that you, again, if you would consider it, I'd approve that you make a motion to bump me up to level 7 and have it be effective for the FY22 budget, which will go into effect July 1st. That way there, it'll already be budgeted. When the new budget starts on July 1st, it will be there, and we don't have to make any adjustments to this year's budget.
I think I read that off.
Jack,
I had
go ahead.
I had a similar question. I wanted to ask when it will take an effect and what is the actual dollar amount of the new salary
Per hour?
No, just the dollar amount, Peter. Check it out.
the new dollar amount, new salary. What is the exact number?
It's about 8,000.
It's
right,
eight.
Peter?
Yeah, it's $87,776.
Okay, so it's about $8,000 increase.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion that we increase our sewer superintendent's salary to a level 7, which at this current time is $87,776. I'd like to start that with the FY22 budget.
Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Second from Jack. All right. Do we have any other discussion on that? All right. Hearing no further discussion, let's put it to a roll call vote.
Mr. Ridlack,
Aye.
Mr. Gagner,
Nay.
Mr. Cantwell,
Aye.
and Mr. Jennings.
Aye.
Great. Thank you all. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Congratulations, Peter.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Finance Committee meeting.
Yes, we are scheduled to appear before the Finance Committee on Wednesday, March 17th at 7 p.m. if anyone would like to join. Again, I don't anticipate any issues regarding our budgets, but I will be there to answer any of their questions. It will be a Zoom meeting. If anyone is interested, I will forward you the link.
All right, thank you for that information, Peter. Next, Curtis Hill Estate Subdivision.
Yes, Blair Builders is back in front of the planning board proposing a 73 lot subdivision at the end of Curtis Hill Road. I believe he has talked to the commission in the past. He has reached out to me a couple of times over the last year and a half regarding extending the sewer line to provide sewer for this subdivision. At this point, there has been no formal request by the developer to connect to the town sewer line. I'll inform the planning board of that, but I just wanted to let you know again that this is on the horizon and you may be getting a request from him in the future. Because of the moratorium, because of the number of subdivision lots, he should be over 10,000 gallons per day. So the moratorium in place allows you to say no. And the other fact is he would have to extend the sewer line somehow from North Sturbridge Road or City Depot Road over to Curtis Hill. There is a possibility he could get frontage on North Sturbridge Road and run it up to the subdivision from there. But that has not happened yet. But there's a few different ways that the request could come.
Peter, what's your thoughts on somebody extending the sewer line and putting 73 houses on it? It's 15,000 gallons a day of capacity. Have to kind of evaluate where we are. Have to evaluate and look at the other commercial projects that might be coming in on Route 20. That there's one like that big warehouse on Mr. Proudy's property down the end of Route 20, which might be 7,500 gallons per day. So I think we're fortunate if we're at 200,000 gallons per day average flow now, and you're looking at just typical residential waste. We should be able to handle it if you wanted to allow it to happen.
Peter, I think you can almost. My question on this is why would you even say anything to the planning board at this point in time when he has not brought anything formal to us whatsoever? I mean, why would you waste your time? Because
I don't want the planning board to think that because I don't believe the plan shows septic systems. So I don't want the planning board to assume that sewer is available. I just want them to be aware.
Peter, what is going to be the problem with crossing the railroad tracks?
What's that?
What problems are anticipated with crossing the railroad tracks? Would this be high up on the bridge that goes over it, or would this be down on the ground where the tracks are?
Yeah, like I said, it depends how he goes. If he runs down City Depot Road to 31 and heads out that way, it would probably have to be suspended from the bridge somehow. If he buys a piece of property on North Sturbridge Road, so he has frontage on North Sturbridge Road where the sewer line is, he could possibly get an easement and go under the railroad tracks if possible. I don't know if that's even possible.
These are all questions that we don't even need to ask because he hasn't proposed anything as of yet, right?
Right.
In all reality, and we don't know if we'd even approve what he'd be asking us for. So, and that's why I say anyone can talk to any board and propose whatever they want, but unless they come to this board and ask for something from this board, well, then they haven't done anything yet, technically.
Yeah, but I understand where Peter's coming from. He's saying he doesn't want this guy in front of the planning board acting like he's already talked to us and he's got all these sewer connections and he's good to go. So they approve his plan, and then he comes to us looking for sewer connection. Right, Peter?
Well,
yes.
But there's no reason why we're not going to say, oh, well, your plan's approved at the planning board. We have to approve you.
Of course not.
This is potentially his error in decision-making of permitting processing without knowing what foot to put forth first, and to say, well, I need to go to the Sewer and Water Commission because he was at one of our meetings before we informed him of the moratorium, and he knew of this, and now he proceeds ahead as if he does have permission. Well, that's shame on him. If he
has he
wants
been to one of our meetings?
In the past, he was at one of our meetings. Yes, this was about 2 years ago, I'd say, right, Peter?
I believe so. Yeah, I know I've talked to him on the phone a couple times. He did appear at one of our meetings.
Must have been before my
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, just
was.
before.
Yep. So, and like I say, I would not, from a developer's point of view, I wouldn't proceed down the road unless I knew I could cross the railroad tracks, go over the bridge, or get the sewer connections from the sewer department.
Right. So I guess my main reason for reaching out to planning board is because they give us a set of all of these plans asking for comments. And
Okay. Yep.
because we know that this was discussed, and like I said, one of the engineers for the project called me last week asking about sewer. So I just want to make sure that on the town side of things, we're all on the same page and nothing gets misinterpreted.
Okay. Very good. So you'll reach out to them and just let them know that we have not heard from Blair Builders at this point in time in a formal request for any sewer or water needs.
Correct. Yeah, I'll just send an email over to Randy and let him know that so he can let the planning board know.
All right. Very good. What's next, Peter? Our 2020 annual report?
Yes, this is following up from our last meeting. Again, there's a draft copy of the annual report for your comments and review and possible approval.
Does anyone have any questions on the report?
Not.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Peter. Moving forward, 2020 or FYI 20 Water Master Plan Grant.
Right. So due to COVID, working with Mass DEP and getting things done for the Water Master Plan grants have been, I guess, slower than normal. So we did submit a scope of work for FY21, which is what we're in currently, which is going to end on June 30th. So I've been reaching out to Mass DEP to try and get that FY21 scope of work approved so that we can put the access road out to bid. The access road for the wells has been approved through planning board. It's been approved through conservation, so it can be built. Fortunately, under our FY20 scope of work, their task number 6 is the roadway that would allow Beta to advertise and bid the access road. So there's $73,000 approximately left in our FY20 master plan grant that the DEP has extended through June 30th. So if you could approve task 6 from our FY20 scope of work, Beta will be able to take the approved access road, put that into an RFP and put that out to bid for us so we can see if the amount of material that we're going to be removing has any actual value and how much it will cost to get that access road in.
Would anyone like to make a motion on such? So Peter, I have a question just to break this down for us.
Yeah.
So for 73,000, Beta is going to handle the bidding for the grant?
I believe it's going to be less than that. In our FY21 scope of work, I believe the cost for them to prepare the RFPs and handle the bidding and do all that was about 37,000.
Okay.
But again, because we're still working under our FY20 scope of work, I can ask Beta to come back with a more defined cost, or you can, if you give me 1 sec, I'll try and pull it up quickly. And that way there I can get you a smaller amount if you'd like to approve that, if that would make you feel more comfortable.
I think so.
Okay.
Because I think I thought we had a different amount in their breakdown from before, as you stated.
Let's see, give me a sec to pull it up. Yeah, so in our FY21 scope of work that hasn't been approved yet, the Buffinville Access Road, there's task 1 for $30,000. And that has us incorporating comments from the planning board. Actually, I'll share this quick. Not that that helps you, Russell, but so task 1 for Buffinville Road Access Road is $30,000. The items under it are incorporate comments from planning board and conservation commission into wellfield access road design, prepare final design plans and specifications, advertise and bid project, prepare addendas as necessary, create bid tabs suitable for distribution, and attend meetings as necessary.
Yes, that's a little bit better. So that would be task 6 and 7 on our list this evening, basically.
Unfortunately, again, this is our FY21 scope of work. I think if you were comfortable approving task 6 of our FY20 scope of work, because that's what we're working with the DEP, up to $30,000 and cap it at that.
Yep.
Then that will keep us within the same scope of work that DEP has approved. And it should be a little bit cleaner for us to follow.
Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve such? Oh. I'm not hearing anyone voicing. Dave, do we have any discussion? Jack, Paul?
I don't.
Did we lose Dave and Paul?
No, I'm here. I'm sorry, I was muted. Peter,
Oh,
can you just say again what the motion would be?
I think so under task 6, just do an advertise and bid the access road project at a cap of $30,000.
Okay, I make a motion as Peter just stated.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Very good. All right. Any further discussion on this? And just for a point of reference, we're approving the amount of 30,000, but it should come in less than that, Peter, correct?
Well, I think hopefully Beta can get that work done for less, yes. It will definitely be a not to exceed $30,000 to get that done for us.
Yep. All right. We'll bring this to a roll call vote.
Mr. Ridlack,
Aye.
Mr. Gagner,
Aye.
Mr. Cantwell,
Aye.
and Mr. Jennings.
Aye. All right. Very good. Moving forward, SCADA upgrade, Peter.
Yes, so the RFP for the SCADA upgrade has been advertised. The timeline for the RFP it was released on February 11th. The deadline for proposer questions is this Thursday, March 4th. The deadline for proposal submissions is March 16th. So the proposal evaluation should be completed by March 25th. And by April 1st, we should have a fee negotiated and contract executed. So we have had a couple of companies come in. We've had one company come in to look at it. And we have one more scheduled for tomorrow morning to come in and look and get us a bid. And I've talked to a couple other people. We might have 2 other companies also interested. So it will be interesting to see what we get for proposals to consider.
Excellent.
Based on this timeline, we may have to add a meeting towards the end of March for you to sit down and review the RFPs and make a decision for the top candidate, if that's okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
Great.
All right. Waterline construction update.
Yes, there hasn't been a lot going on. The field for the Baypath pump station, the field testing has been completed. There was one minor repair that needs to be made to the generator, and then the pump station should be ready to be activated. Once that pump station is activated, the school loop should be activated as well. but that has not happened yet. As far as service connections go, there has been no work, no new service connections installed. I believe they have about 40 out to the houses at this time. The plumbers are continuing to work inside the homes to prep the interior plumbing for when the water line is activated. They can just go, Southbridge can come in and just install the meters and make the connection internally and flip a couple valves, and those homes will be connected to town water. So that's about all I have for water line construction. And again, that water line has not been activated yet.
Excellent. All right, and that would bring us to any other business not known at the time of posting? Is there anything?
Nope, not that I'm aware of.
All right. Hearing none, I guess we would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right,
All right.
for a roll call vote,
Mr. Ridlack,
Aye.
Mr. Gagner,
Aye.
Mr. Cantwell,
Aye.
and Mr. Jennings.
aye.
All right, so next regular meeting will be on April 5th. Again, there may be a special meeting for SCADA information at the end of this month.
Perfect.
Very good.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Peter.
everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, guys.